I mean, those guys,
Yeah.
they're fighting not. Somebody's trying to reach her from her office. They don't know where she is.
Okay, well, let's get, right now, we got about 10 after 2, so let's call to order the Cave Committee for the Orange County Legislature, the Special Cave Committee, I should say. Please note that this meeting is being transmitted live via video stream. The public can find a link to this video stream by visiting the Orange County website at www.orangecountygov.com and clicking on the tab for the legislature and locating the meeting on the calendar. Everyone here, please silence your cell phones, tablets, and other electronic devices. A note is also to be mindful that the microphones in this room are very sensitive, so they'll pick up cross conversations and such. So one person at a time. And at this time, would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Listen. Roll call, Carrie Ann.
Cheney?
Here.
Padu?
Here.
Brooks?
Here.
Ford? Cass?
Here.
Benson? Hughes?
Here.
Grunwald? Benton?
Here. All right, so we have enough to have a meeting. All right, so first up on the agenda today was going to be Johanna, who we're calling to see if she's able to make it, and Stephanie regarding an update on the equipment that could be necessary for the display as well in the buildings, as well as possible mobile display. And since they're not here, let's go on to the second part. Which is our James Brooks, our Commissioner, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Conservation. Was also, this was about the security fencing that was discussed as one of the things we think that needs to be done first. Jim, you want to describe what I asked you to work up here?
So Lee had asked me to go out there and get a price on fencing for that section, basically from the propane dealer up to where the topography on that side of the hill is so steep that, you really couldn't get a vehicle or a car up there. So as you can see, it's about 400 linear feet. This price was supplied to us by our county contract vendor for chain link fencing. It's pretty straightforward. It was 14, the price is what he bid for by the linear foot is $14,000.
When you say the county contractor, is that the guy you use exclusively for all your fencing?
Well, yes.
Okay, I'm not trying to trap you into something here, but it seems to me that that's way up in the clouds for the price.
You're right.
Okay, we know that
Everything is in the clouds now.
Maybe the process needs to be explained. So the county goes out every year for a bid, and it's a competitive bid. This is the bid that came in that was accepted. So that's what we have.
So it's all based by the foot?
It's prevailing wage.
Yeah.
Which is,
Adds a penny or two.
It is. I'm IBEW retired. I know about prevailing wage.
Yeah, as well as all the economic conditions that are going on now with.
Right, that's assuming they can get the material,
Mhm.
Sure. They're probably 45 days out, 30 to 45 days out,
Okay.
if you green light it.
So is there anything that prevents us from offering more bids, or is that guy locked in to be the only bidder?
Well, this went out to bid to multiple vendors. He was awarded the bid. His contract is good through the end of 22.
So, yeah, the process to go out for somebody else to do it would be protracted because you can get bids, you have to go through a bidding process, but then there's the whole contract thing. So the contract's already set up with this.
And we're 5 months away from the termination point.
Well, they're eligible for at least one more extension, so they'll be extended to 23.
But the point is, he was the best price from all those initially that were asked. Give us your best price for the year.
Why?
Welcome to the.
Well, no, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I can't be surprised either. Mike, or Barry, you had a question?
Well, no, so there's no need for a gate, isn't it
Well,
part way
I
up the
think
need
this
for a
includes a
gate?
gate.
This doesn't say anything.
No, it does not include a gate. It does not include a gate.
Okay, well, yeah, because we're gonna, yeah, okay, so again,
Now,
we'll need.
we talked about, just a little bit further up there's a two-track path there. I don't know if that's,
Oh, it's up above, up above.
well, this is from that from two-track down, that's where this is.
Yeah, he walked up till, sort of towards the edge of the road, starts to get vertical and difficult for,
Right.
mobile equipment to access.
Right, but somebody, I
Long enough to
don't know if
keep
it's
people on
Tilcon,
both sides.
it must be Tilcon that's using the two-track path there, just around that corner. But I don't know if we would want to put a fence there because it looks like, Tilcon goes in and out of there several times a day.
That'd be something that we would ask,
Right.
We need to find out.
with them, what they do and what they use. I know when you go up around the corner, there's a trail that goes, or a path that goes up the hill, and that's for access to the water tank that's up on the top of the hill. That's across kind of like from, the DSS building.
So would it behoove us to put a gate down at the bottom where it's visible and close to the road? So if we have to get in there for whatever reason, that we can, because if you put the gate up in the woods, they're gonna knock the hinges off it or whatever. So, and I would say 5 foot and 5 foot or 6 foot and 6 foot, so that if they gotta get up in there with fire equipment or trucks or whatever, that we've got a way to get in and out of
I think
there.
we
The gate needs to be added to that.
Yeah, we'll have to pick a spot where either there is not a need for a culvert pipe, because there's a swale that runs along the side of the road. So either we'll put a culvert pipe in to get access, or we'll put it where there is not a swale.
All right,
You could throw 3-inch rock in that ditch and the water run right through there. You don't need to put a pipe.
Mike Shaduk, any questions?
No, is he
Thoughts?
do they break down the labor and materials for you?
They will.
6-foot high fence, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what, is it a good heavy gauge? Is it a light one? I mean, is there requirements in their contract that says your fencing needs to be this, this, and this? Or they pick it out and then say,
No,
you got the
it's
contract.
specified, I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head, but if you look on, if you go on the trail at all, this is the same contract with the fencing on the trail. So up in Middletown,
Yeah.
we come off East Main
Yeah.
Street, there's that fence there, it's the same contractor. So if you
So
go
it should
check
be
it out.
12 gauge.
I'm not
At
sure the
least.
gauge, yeah, I could find out, I'm not sure the gauge. But if you go, you're by there all the time, I'm sure, Mike, right?
Yeah, I go by there.
Yeah, so check out that, you can check it out, that's the gauge. That fence, I think, is only 4 or 5 feet high, this would be 6.
So when it says coil top and bottom, it's just a straight run.
Yes.
And that's the best thing for the monkeys, because when they go to grab the bar on the top, it gives them something to flip with, but if they've got the wire, there's nothing to grab onto, it throws them off.
You could probably cut the price a little bit if we went down to like 4 foot high, so it's a little bit less than 4 feet.
Yeah, but you can just
Let's
about
move on
jump
this,
over.
yeah, I don't think we,
I could hurdle that.
yeah, and I don't think we need to nickel and dime, to be
I'd pay
honest.
to
I
do
mean,
that.
I haven't touched it with one foot.
So my plan of attack for today was to simply get the approval of this committee that they believe that this is a worthwhile project for us to establish, I'll work with finance to establish capital number for the project, capital project, and then get the official quotes or bids, again, to bring to fiscal services for somewhere around this amount of fencing with possible, it could be 2 gates if we had to, but up to 2 gates. And that way I can work with Deb in finance and actual language for getting that established so that when fiscal services committee is given a direct, specific quote and estimate that they can approve with, at one of various future meetings. I mean, hopefully even at the next meeting.
Well, next week's September, so.
Well,
Yeah.
next month's meeting,
Yeah.
that's all.
Jim, you have any cameras in that area that could be aimed on that side of the mountain? You have the ability to add cameras to that?
I mean, I'd have to check with, General Services, but generally for cameras, you're gonna need, some sort of internet there to, watch it.
Trail?
Trail cams. I tried putting trail cams out at Camp Concordia, that 3 or 4 of them were stolen.
Yeah, yeah.
The
What about
sheriff's
the 911?
Sheriff's Department took one and said, somebody put this there, I'm like, thank you, that's fine, so.
What about the 911 facility? Can't they put some Wi-Fi with a solar connector out there?
I guess anything's possible, but I just find with cameras, it's very difficult because unless you have a very clear picture of the guy or the person's face, it's very difficult to determine, who it is. It's usually, and people nowadays know there's cameras all over the place, so it's either a hood or a mask,
Yeah.
glasses, or, whatever. So, I mean, it's a great idea, but I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze.
The dummies work.
I tried that too now.
They get wise to it.
Yeah, it's 100%. Especially people who don't work.
Electrify. Don't stop.
There you go.
Professional thieves are the ones.
Well,
I wanted to do that with a razor wire, when I first came here, they said, no, you can't do that.
yeah, razor wire and electricity,
You
that,
can't do that shit.
previous precedent for razor wiring, Cromer Hill.
Bag of rattlesnakes.
Mr. Cass, any questions? Comments?
Well, first of all, I can't really talk, because I just came from dental surgery.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So,
No,
the
you
gauze
can't, definitely
in my
can't
mouth,
smile.
so if I sound funny, it's because of that. I missed last meeting, although I did listen to the CD that was sent to me, so I'm kind of aware. So, where do you want to put this fencing? Down?
Right along Quarry Road,
Yeah,
from, and again, going along the property line with the county property and the propane
okay.
dealer that is there. And then from then, I don't know the direction, east probably, up, following the side of Quarry Road to the point where yes.
Just
the
to prevent
topography
vehicles
gets to
from
be
getting up
steep.
there, or people?
Say again?
Is this to prevent vehicles or people?
Everything.
But primarily.
But primarily RV, four-wheelers or something like that.
So I drove past there several weeks ago, and it was very overgrown. And I didn't see the gate that is that gate still there?
It's
Sort of
back
set back a
down
bit?
towards the propane side, yes.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Yeah,
But it's
still
50
there.
feet
And then
back.
that sort of pathway going way up.
Yeah.
To
It's
where
still
the
there.
overlook is.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah,
think
it's
that
still there.
gate you're talking about is off the hinges or,
Probably, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in such a long.
That hasn't been maintained in, who knows, 20, 25 years.
Yeah. Well, again, my only concern is just drawing more attention to this area that might be warranted. I'm not dissenting. I'm just questioning in my mind. For all these years, there has not been a fence. I don't believe that there's been much visitation or vandalism for quite some time up there. So I'm just wondering.
There hasn't been much, I would say vandalism, but you could tell people that are there because, once in a while, because I've cleaned up quite a bit of garbage
Okay.
from the site.
the commissioner pointed out the same thing that you have your eye on and said, are we drawing attention to it or are we better off to leave it alone?
Yeah.
And I think the consensus of opinion with everybody's input, to keep something bigger than a wheelbarrow from coming in and out of there is the objective here. You're never gonna stop the people. There's enough evidence, it's the garbage and leftovers and that kind of stuff. We know it's being visited, but we're trying to control anything with a tire on it.
Okay.
Right.
If the committee believes that this expenditure is warranted, then
All right. All right, so we got 4 voting members here for the development of this with the addition of up to 2 gates and a development of a direct quote to establish a capital project.
I would like to amend that, what you said. One gate with 2 wings where we can get in and out of there. There's no sense of putting a gate up the hill further. If that fence goes along that roadway, everything is going up over the hill.
Right.
So
But
it's like-
again, in my opinion, though, I think we just want to make sure that we're not blocking something up there from Tilcon, which is using it for a
Well,
specific.
we stopped we stopped the measurement for this fence before that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I figured it by eye.
Okay.
So the other thing
So one
too,
gate.
And the gate can be like the one at,
At Cromer.
at the, yeah.
Yeah.
At
in
the
Cromer Park.
dog park.
The dog park. Animal?
going back, the cases and the money for the cases, we should look at these wholesalers that, sell those things. There's warehouses all over the place. So I would,
Well, that's a different issue for Johanna if she was here to discuss. Absolutely. But
but for Jim to check with the fence contractor and find out if he could sharpen his pencil a little bit and put that gate in there for that
Oh,
same
believe me.
price.
he does.
And
And
tribes.
Yeah.
Burpo does as well in finance.
You can tell him I'll hang out in front of the business if he doesn't budge.
All right, any,
Do we have any no
You're thinking like I
trespassing
thought when I
signs
first came here 8 years ago, 7 years ago. It took me 5 years to get used to it.
on that? Jim, are there no trespassing signs posted anywhere?
Not, there were some on that fence at the Arlen gate they're talking about, but once we put the fence up, then we could put, the standard parks, green and white sign, no trespassing. My only thought about that is, again, you're drawing attention to something that, really people do go there, yes, but.
and also there's potential, I mean, there's signs,
Liability issues.
there's a sign in the woods that says caution explosives. I mean, apparently there were some structures that are near this area that were originally used as some sort of depository for probably explosives for the quarry. So as soon as I saw that, I had my picture taken next to it by Mr. Faccione, but we went completely the opposite direction and got out of there, not knowing what we might trip over.
But the county has, we have signs all over, there's 5,000 or 6,000 acres of open space. We have no trespassing signs, no, posted signs, but, and I'm not, I don't sound like a pessimist, but nobody obeys those rules. I mean,
No, but that protects us liability wise, doesn't it? Somebody
Well,
gets hurt.
I'm not an attorney, but, I think you're behind the eight ball regardless, to be honest. I mean, we have no swimming signs down at Plum Point, and this weekend there were, 50, 60 people in the water.
Ms. Benelli?
The request that you have before you, that you're pending approving, does not include the cost of the gates. Do we have any kind of an idea of what that is?
It's probably gonna be $300 more.
Because once you
Mhm.
decide to move it on,
Right,
you want to have a more definitive.
that's exactly,
You can make it 15, increase by 1,000, and then, like always, if you don't
And you
use it,
think that should cover it,
yeah, whatever's not used goes
based
back,
on your experience?
it goes back, yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, you're not gonna tell him that, right?
Well,
Well, you are now.
it is,
Well,
it's all public record,
Herein lies the problem.
right, it's all public record, all public
Let's make
record.
it 14
It
more.
just did.
But that's, again, this is just to get,
But herein lies the problem with the bidding, that's why I was at a problem with it, you're
Yeah.
studying a capital project and,
Yep.
of course, we all know we have to drop our pants and that's a problem. All right, Carrie Ann, roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Cheney,
Yes.
Paduk,
Yes.
Brooks.
yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I guess Carrie Ann gave me a message that Johanna will not be able to make it today. She just forgot to call, so we'll have to, at next month's committee meeting, have to bring this back for discussion with the cases and display as to what the costs are for the different possibilities, be it mobile or stationary. The last thing on the agenda for today, everyone should have gotten a copy of the letter that was sent by myself and our chairwoman, Ms. Benelli, to Tilcon. I asked Betsy to put something down in legalese to send, and it was sent last week. I'll just read it for the record. Dear sirs, it has come to the attention of the Orange County Legislature that seismograph equipment was installed at the Paleo Indian Caves located at the Goshen Quarry, as outlined in the attached mine inspection record obtained from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation website. The existence of this equipment was first discovered by legislator Lee Benton, chairman of the Dutchess Quarry Sites National Register District Management Committee, during a recent visit to the site. The Orange County Legislature is now inquiring as to why there was no prior notice provided regarding the installation of the same. Furthermore, please advise as to the reasons the equipment was installed and the results that have been obtained since its installation. I look forward to your response, and again, signed by Chairwoman Benelli and myself. And I would like to thank Mr. Cheney for knowing how to navigate the New York State DEC website and to find reports and such, because he was able to find on, let's see, what was the date? 8/17/2020. The department chair for that in New York State, in the New Paltz headquarters, was Helena Duda. And it shows that she was the person that was part of the oversight and watched for the installation of this equipment at the caves. So thank you, Barry, for that. Anything to add about this?
Pretty straightforward and it's somewhat informative, but not a lot of detail.
Oh, so that's why, we sent out this notice for a response from them. Mike Paduch had questions about, just like everybody else, I think here, how come we weren't notified and informed from the beginning?
Since then, right? And DEC, nobody reached out to, nobody.
I don't recall getting anything now.
County Executive's Office has no record of anybody contacting them.
DEC is usually, if they're going anywhere, they let you know.
Nobody I asked, no. Ms. Benelli?
Just for the record, I wanted to note that that letter was also sent as a copy to the county.
Animal.
As it stands now, from this point forward, do we have an interlock connect with the DEC and the county attorney's office so that they speak first before anything goes on, or is it going to come to this committee? Or both?
Could be both. I believe Tilcon should be responding to us and the county exec's office at the same time in any communication. So
okay.
It's not something that they're gonna send it to me. No, they're gonna be sending it to the county exec and also Ms. Benelli as chairwoman of the legislature.
Because the agreements are actually with the county, which means the county executive signs any paperwork. So
Right.
we
Yeah.
really don't. But as a legislator, we had a question, so that's why I came. But our letter did go to the county attorney as well.
So the county attorney, the county exec, and this committee should get a copy and request that the DEC keep us abreast of things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then again, as we said before the meeting started, I do know that Helena retired in January.
I was gonna say, I can't believe she's still working on it.
Yeah, she took
30 years ago.
she took the buyout or whatever package was offered in January. And so I have no idea if or who has replaced her and taken over her position. I know the DEC does cry a lot about when there's procedures and paperwork, how they always complain about being understaffed.
There are a
there's
tremendous amount of new people in DOT and DEC. I mean, a lot.
And there's a tremendous amount of minds when you really look at the map. There's a lot of work that she did. And there's many minds that need the oversight. And so I'm assuming that they've definitely put somebody in there as fast as they could. So. Any other questions?
Just one.
Topics to bring up?
Just on this letter, Lee, maybe we should have added something like, your response is requested immediately or something. Because they could just say, oh, yeah, we forgot about that letter. We got that 6 months ago, I mean, it's interesting to know that they're just going on our property installing equipment without the county knowing. That's just very odd to me. Very odd that nobody would know that.
I guess we have no idea of the results of the equipment.
Absolutely none. Nope, nothing. I can tell you that the first day I was there, when I didn't know there was equipment there, I took the long way. I walked up and along the easy way up to the top of the cave area. I went to where follow where they had dropped us off with the pickup truck when Mr. Cheney and I had the the guided tour of the caves. And we started at the top and we then climbed down by the rope and at that one section where you can, you don't really need a rope, but it's helpful. But while I was there, I did observe that there was a microphone, and I didn't follow the wire to see that it was going down over the edge and down into the cave. I just saw that they had a microphone at the top of the mountain, plugged into the ground, and there was some other electronic-like equipment that was laid out on top of the ground. And I walked by it and, was talking to myself. So if it was a real microphone, I'm sure they caught myself talking to myself. But when I went down and, like I said, the step arrangement to get down to the actual cave itself and to look at it, standing from the outside, I didn't see the wire going along the ground and into the cave. But on my way down and out, way back to the car, I did hear the horn blow a couple times, which is a signal that they're going to be blasting. And then a couple minutes later, I did feel the rumble of the mountain underneath my feet. So it was definitely a sure sign that, they were using that equipment that day that I was there.
Is there something we can do to request the readouts from their observation?
Oh, this is what we've asked for, and,
On a monthly basis or quarterly basis?
we need to get them to advise, what they're doing, and then we will require specifics as necessary. Absolutely. So.
We would need obviously somebody with geological expertise
Mhm.
to determine if the results of their equipment indicates that there's any kind of threat to the stability of the caves through their blasting.
Yep, absolutely. Now, I will say that the meeting that myself, Animal, and Mr. Johnson, when we met to go up to the cave to look at some concerns that Mr. Faggio and myself had for some, fissures and such. Mr. Johnson had particular pictures of what I questioned, and his pictures were from like 2007 or 2006. And the features that I saw inside that thought were dangerous were in the exact same positions as those pictures from him from a long time ago. So it
So you would say
appear-
nothing's changed in 15 years?
didn't appear there had been much change of any.
It didn't look it by eye.
No. And when I went in with Mr. Johnson, since he said everything appeared to be safe, I actually went down further in into the back dark recess of the cave with the flashlight. It was back to where Mr. Brooks and I went on our trip. And, we showed him the flashlight where you can actually, looks like you can, jump down and you can see how the some sort of like tunnel goes down into the mountain. And, that's still open. And the background picture, the pictures from Mr. Johnson's background, they do not look like there's a whole lot of extra debris that has fallen from the ceiling or the walls. The only thing I could see that didn't match my pictures from 2019 was some of the sediment, the mineral, collections of minerals, not really formed into stalactites or stalagmites yet, but it looked like on one of the faces of the roof of the cave, it looked like some of those deposits, weren't the same. But it didn't look like anything photographically showing anything that had, dramatically changed. So that was fortunate, I think.
Well, let me just add one thing, just an impression. I think it's a good thing that Tilcon put this equipment up there without being prompted by county government or.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but it's great that it's there to document what is actually happening.
They're concerned about viability of the cave site.
Yeah, I agree. Not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I think it's a positive thing too.
Yeah.
It may have been something that was required or that they offered as part of their permit renewal.
That's possible. That's possible. You think, though, that the New York State DEC would have let us know those requirements for their permit renewal?
It was probably printed in the environmental notice bulletin at some point.
You don't read those?
It's anything is possible. All right. Anything else to discuss?
I have something that Stuart might want to comment on about, we talked to some of our tribal chiefs in this area to gather together a way where we can make an exhibit. So Stuart, if you would.
I spoke to a couple of our elders and I want to say it's a great idea on both aspects, having something permanent here
Mhm.
and the mobile. They did have concerns, obviously, with the mobile one, if there were certain artifacts and how they would be.
Protection, absolutely.
But they think it's a great idea. They're all in favor of it. The only thing that they want to know is how can we get involved that they can help this process go.
We can provide a lot of artifacts and
Mhm.
history and things of that nature. In our part of the world, the stories are told every year from the time you're 1 year old to you're 101 years old. So you hear that story again and again, and you hear it from everybody that's older than you and younger than you. And it continues on, and that's the history. You guys write things down. We speak it every year at all the parties 12 times a year. So to make it meld together, we would like to know how to make a display that can touch both sides of the river here. We want to make it, Barry, go ahead.
I just want to add to this conversation that last week, my wife and I went to the Museum of Natural History, where they have an updated and upgraded hall of peoples and cultures of the Northwest. The tribal peoples up there, like the Bella Coola and Tlingit. So again, pardon my mouth, I'm going to Alaska later this week. So I want to, be up on this exhibit. So I just want to point out that exhibit might be good as far as helping us understand how to add indigenous voices to any exhibit. Plus, I just got this yesterday, I haven't read it. The latest issue of National Geographic magazine, its lead article is on the indigenous peoples having their voice spoken. So you might want to look at the latest issue of National Geographic magazine. I don't think it has anything to do with our particular concern, regarding here in the Northeast, the Dutchess Quarry Cave State, but just how Native peoples are reemerging again as an important voice in the process of cultural preservation.
No, it's great that for the cooperation, because again, we want to make sure that we cooperate with you. And again, everything related would go through you and Animal. Again, you're welcome to every meeting. Appreciate to speak at anything, every meeting. And that way, again, with Johanna here, she's more of a curator, I'm sure, than any of us. But thank you very much for the offer. I think that's great.
And we're sewing up the loose ends of it, and there's not many. Everybody's just full steam ahead. They think it's delightful that we can do this, and if it's okay with the county and the committee, I would like to employ our Ramapos, our Sloatsburgs, our brothers in Mawa, and everybody over the line. There's 26 tribes, county to county, shoulder to shoulder with us here that all had a part of it, and tons of information. Mawa was the hunting grounds until the Ford plant came in. And that's where the deer and the fish and all of that stuff went on for centuries. And so you'll find it surprising how many tribes there were right out to the Pennsylvania border. 13 on this side of the river, 13 on that side of the river, 13 in Delaware, and 13 on Long Island. Tons of information and tons of artifacts too.
Great.
Go anywhere that you find two streams across together and do a little bit of this, you'll find arrowheads and all kinds of stuff. The place was loaded with it here.
And that's our thing, education. And
Yeah, this is going to be great.
a lot of our guys, men and women, love to promote education. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
No, absolutely. No, this is a perfect opportunity to
We have
really
three
get something together that's great.
chiefs that are so hands-on with Native affairs and what's going on all over the globe, and they live right here. So I have an access with these guys in Sloatsburg and Ramapo and Mawa Everybody knows everybody. There are no Native Americans in this Hudson Valley that don't know the other guy. We all know each other.
Excellent. That's gonna be a great park for the future, definitely.
Yeah, I think this thing's gonna fly.
Yes.
And I think you'll be surprised. Find a town around here that doesn't have a Native American name with a stream in it, that is an American Native name
Oh, absolutely.
for 85,000 years.
I mean, I, like, with my discussions with you on the telephone, sure, I've heard about Route 59, Spring Valley and Muncie. But again, all along my study of social studies and such in schooling, sure, I've heard of the Muncie Indians, but obviously Muncie, Route 59 was anglicized.
MUNSCE.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever you see an SCE or an OBE, there's waters or streams or this. Poughkeepsie means the shed with the thatched roof by the river. OSCE, by the river. Tappan Z, ZEE, the river. So if you see the E's and the OBEEs, Okeechobee and all of that, everywhere in the world, that's where the names came from. It means something.
Mhm.
I just slipped my rail here.
That's okay, take your time.
Anishinaabe and Anunnaki. Anishinaabe on this coast, Anunnaki in the southwest, between the Hopi and the Navajo and the Iroquois here, and the 15 states that the Cherokee occupied. All of the religions and all of the customs of 570 tribes, 100 million people, is floating out there with information flying like you can't imagine. The chief of the Onondaga Nation and Noon, Noon, neighbors of the Onondaga Nation, have a law department that you can access that would blow your mind. They have the paperwork and they know where to go to get it for this, or the legal documents or anything else. I'm in touch with them all the time.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Yep. Now, Carrie Ann, would you happen to know what the date would be for our next meeting?
If you're gonna do July, it would be July 25th for physical services.
Yep.
August would be August 22nd.
Okay, so let's put that down, July 25th. And August 22nd would be the next dates for our next two meetings. Great.
Big powwow, August 6th and 7th.
Yeah, explain that. And want to explain that to
You would
everybody?
know more about that than I do.
Sure, go ahead.
With the powwows, a lot of people think it's a bunch of people just getting together to sell stuff. No. Powwows are a type of gathering that our native culture wants to bring out and to allow our people just to take and demonstrate their skills of knowledge, their skills of music, their skills of beating, and a lot of it, when you see them in what's called the circle, is spiritual. No matter what or who you may worship, it's still all spiritual. Everything is gathered within that circle. The circle is blessed before anyone goes in. When I say blessed, it's either sage. The people that enter the circle are usually blessed with, like we use sage, and we bless our people to go into the circle. You take and you do whatever you want in the circle. The only thing that is not allowed in any powwow, no matter where you go, alcohol and drugs. Not allowed. If you're caught with it, you are asked to leave and never come back. So they will banish you from their powwow. Like I said, you'll see a lot of people call them costumes. It's not costumes, it's called regalia. So you'll see feathers, you'll see hides, or whether it be deer, bison. And Mike, you see a bunch of it around the Middletown area with some of our people.
Yeah.
And it's, again, educational and spiritual. It's a gathering that they can allow these entities to come together and flourish and educate anybody who comes into the circle. Then again, we do have vendors that sell this particular stuff, but their monies go back into buying more material and selling it just to take and show you what they're all about. We do also have one coming up October 1st and 2nd at the American Legion on Waywayond Avenue here in Middletown, October 1st and 2nd. I invite you all, please come. It's a smaller one. It's what we call our veteran powwow. We usually have a pretty good set of people that come in and if you have any questions, then we have a bunch of elders that are there and you can ask more questions that I don't know. Animal may or may not know, but I've seen him there once or twice. Powwows are a gathering to take and inspire everyone. It's not just for Native Americans, Indian, Indigenous, it's for everyone to take and learn something new.
And this is August,
1st and 2nd, October 1st and 2nd,
Yeah, ours is October 1st and 2nd.
right, but yours set
6th and 7th. at
August
Wayne.
6th and 7th at Anthony Wayne Park, which is just the other
Mountain
side of
Park.
Bear Mountain.
Yeah.
And the hours?
I think it goes on 3 days, or 2 days rather. I think it's a Saturday and a Sunday.
The start time for public?
Most of the time grant entries are anywhere from 10 to 11 and they go up to either 6 or 7.
Oh, okay.
And if you want to catch a real eyeful, don't miss the grand entry. You'll see whomever has the tribe there and their costumes and their music and everything.
Again, see,
Regalia.
Regalia. Costumes. This is a costume.
Well, again, I'm a member of a Masonic lodge, so I understand regalia.
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
You're very
I
welcome.
expect to go and bring the grandkids.
That would be great.
That's gonna be good. All right, anything else to bring up? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you next month on the 25th.
So Lee, what was the reason why Joanna and her